every time I played music, they muted me, and I realised that I can't do it, so I don't. So maybe we can sing.
No.
No.
My voice is bad enough without me singing.
Do that at the end when we want everyone to go.
So welcome everybody, and we're here tonight, and there's a lot of us. We couldn't get Neil on tonight, who's part of the other part of the September team. I'm going to call you the September team, and I'm super excited about coming over to the UK in September. Let us know you're there. I can see a couple of people on. Just let us know. Put your comments up. But I'm excited about coming over in September. One, I haven't been for 4.5 years, so that's catching up with family is going to be very important. But you guys here have been incredible, because all of a sudden, you know, every day there is a new something coming, and it's really weird how we've all come together and how this has all actually happened. So I can't remember, Karen, you were just saying that the Laurie thing happened because Laurie was eavesdropping on our talk. Is it eavesdropping?
Well, he joined the chat. He joined the chat, and I forget what we were talking about now. And all of a sudden, Laurie popped up, and of course, I'd eavesdropped on Laurie's chats when he was doing them. And I have to say, social media is working at its finest there, because I met Laurie through social media. I met Jenny through social media. I haven't met Bruno yet, so hello, Bruno.
Hello.
But I'm meeting Bruno through social media. But of course, you and I met face to face many years ago, Val. So I think that's how times have changed as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Because we started off, gosh, I'm trying to think, 34 years ago.
Or something
It's
like
got to
that.
be 34 years ago, and we started off in the same church, and we've become firm friends, which is really lovely. Yeah, and Laurie, it was because Karen said, Laurie said, what about? And then we got in touch, which was really lovely. So we got a fair few people coming on here. Hello, everybody. Eva, Karen, and Patrick is on here. Nat, Catherine, and Belinda, thank you all for joining us. We're going to have a fun evening tonight. We're going to be talking about all sorts, but you notice how colour coordinated we all are tonight as well. It's rather lovely. Even Laurie, you've even got in on it, Laurie. I love it. So Laurie, we met you through, and you run, of course, Poole Spiritualist Church, and you do incredible things there. And I must admit, you know, you've taken us on, and I've put on our poster that we are having an extravaganza of mediumship, because we're doing so much with you, which is going to be incredible. So thank you.
Pleasure. Yeah, we're all looking forward to seeing you both over here. And when you've got two demonstrators such as yourselves, we make the most out of it. So we've got dems going on, we've got private sit-ins, workshops. Excuse me, far too early in the morning over here.
So you're going to be getting your money's worth out of us.
Oh yeah, you don't come to Poole for an easy ride. We've got the. Sorry.
I was going to say, I've also heard that you make us do the gardening and things like that. So I'm bringing my paintbrushes with me in case you've got any touching up to do.
Well, the lovely Jack, who you've had on from Denmark, he and his partner Lola came over, and they ended up painting the outside of the church on a cherry pick. Anything over 6-inch stilettos, and I'm off. I can't do it.
So, Karen, we don't have to paint the outside of the church, Karen. Phew.
Well, that's good, and also I'm not very good at gardening, because I'd probably pull up your flowers and leave your weeds. So you don't want me in your garden, but I'm not bad in the kitchen, Laurie.
Oh, great. Well, you turf the cupboards out, love. They need doing.
So Sandra and Stephen have joined us as well. So lovely to see you on here. So and then Jenny and I mean, Jenny's been over here, and we've worked together over here, and we've worked together in the UK. And do you know, I never forget, Jen, the first time that I worked with you, and I was only, I've told you this story so many times, but I'd only been over from Australia 3 days, and I was still very jet lagged. So I'm sitting there listening to you do your demonstration of mediumship, and I was so overawed by the whole thing. My jaw was on the floor, and you turned around, you'd finished your message, and you said, "Oh, do you want to have a go?" "Oh no, I know you're tired, love. It's okay. I can do another one." And I was just completely, the only word I can think of is gobsmacked by how funny and how accurate and how animated you were in your mediumship. And I must admit, you've taught me an awful lot in how to be different with an audience. So I thank you for that.
Yeah, I always remember Laurie said it's okay to be yourself as well, and going back a little bit as to how we first came about, I always remember following you and your journey on your
Yeah,
spiritual journey. How it came about, I don't know, but it's like spirit will bring you together if they want you to come together. So I just saw you on social media and I just thought, I'm going to ask that lady if she'd like to come and work with me. And I think that's how it just came about. And through all of that, we've become extremely good friends.
yeah,
And good friends sometimes are really hard to find, but I thank you for that. And working together is an absolute pleasure because our energies just blend so beautifully
yeah.
and we're so alike in so many ways. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that first meeting, and I do apologize if I made it so hard on you. I
No,
wasn't
no.
aware that it was 3 days, but nonetheless, it was a coming together that was meant to be, and hopefully there'll be many more of that because it's just special to be able to work with other mediums, and come together
Yeah.
with like-minded people.
And I
Definitely.
would like to say there, it's nice to come together and work with other mediums where there's no ego. And that is such an important thing. You look at some people and they're so precious about everything they do and they don't want to share it. And it makes things extremely difficult. So all of you that are watching, if you've got any questions or anything you would want to put to any of us, please feel free to do it, and we'll try our best to answer your questions. So yeah, that was and of course, Jen, we've also linked up with the lovely Ian Tamplin, who can't be on here tonight, but he's going to watch this later. And we've become the three amigos. I think we're like naughty school kids, aren't we? Just
Footprints
enjoying
in the sand. Footprints in the sand. Loved it when we were over there. Footprints in the sand. It was amazing because I take him around with me. He says, "Oh, Jane, can I come with you this evening?" I said, "Oh, yeah, it's fine." So I go pick him up and we have a laugh getting there. We have a good old laugh coming back. But he just loves the company. He
Yeah,
loves being in amongst all things spiritual. And he
yeah,
is another really good, true friend.
yeah.
I'm
And
amazed to say that is a good friend to me.
he's also a very good medium.
Yeah, precisely. He
Yeah,
is.
he
Just wish
really
he had the
is.
confidence to stand up because he has so much to give.
Yeah.
But I did say to him last Tuesday, would it be right, would it be wrong? I said, "Ian, have you got anything?" And he was able to come forward. He didn't want to stand up. I
Oh.
respect that he did not want to stand up. But do you have to stand up and work for spirit? You can
Mm,
sit down. You can lay down, sit in a rock in the middle of the ocean if you want to. But he did, and it was amazing because he has it there. I just wish he'd have a little bit more confidence.
yeah. But that comes with time, and the more you get out there, and I mean, we
Yeah,
all know that. And I
Definitely.
remember from our days, Karen, getting up on the stage, and everybody's looking at you, and have I got it wrong? Have I upset anybody? It's really, really tough. So,
It is, definitely. But we do it because we love it, because it's our passion. It's it's so good to meet like-minded people and to enjoy what you do. I think that's the most
yeah.
important thing.
Yeah,
Definitely.
certainly is. Yeah, it is a passion, but it's being of service. And I think for me, that is one of the most important things, just being of service and just doing the best we can every day for as many as we can. And I try and say that to people all the time. So let's bring in the lovely Bruno from Portugal. Now,
Hello.
Bruno, I love
hello.
you, Bruno. Bruno came onto my live a couple of times and
Yeah,
posed all these questions to me, and we've become firm friends as
yeah.
well. And then I can't remember, it was a couple of months
So
ago,
we
I think.
start talking
Yeah,
like 2, 3 years ago when I
yeah,
was doing my spiritual journey on the island.
Yes.
Because I'm from Portugal, and then I lived. I studied theater arts in Lisbon, and then I went to study theater arts in London, and then I said, "Nah, I quit during COVID." And then I moved to a Portuguese island in the middle of the ocean, and
Yeah.
to start to explore my spirituality. And then Val appeared with with her circle, and I remember that it was like 1 a.m. there at the island, and you were okay. So let's go. Good morning. I was like, how the hell is good morning? Like, oh my god, I can't cope with this jet lag. And how the hell? No, it was really interesting. And now we are going to finally see each other and hug each other, and it is very, very amazing.
Oh, I was saying that to Bruno the other day. I said I can't wait to meet him and actually give him
Yeah.
the biggest hug, because
Yeah.
again we've become firm friends. And then I had the cheek a couple of months ago to get in touch with Bruno and say, how about I come to Portugal and do some shows? And he went, yes.
Let's go.
So, and one show is developed into 2 shows and a holiday, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
And I'm dragging Ian along with me as well, which will be such fun. It really will be such fun. And of course, Karen, I just remembered, we're also going down to Welsh Wales, aren't we?
We are. In fact, I'm spending a lot of time in Welsh Wales this year. I've already been there, and then I'm going back in September.
Yeah.
And I'm extending my stay because I'm going to spend some time with you. And I'm really excited to be demming with you in your home turf for you. It's where you were born, and I think it's going to be fun. I really think it's going to be fun.
Do you know what's interesting is I've never worked in Wales.
Well, there you go.
I know. It's a scary first for me, but I'm looking forward to it very, very much. So Bruno's going to do sightseeing around Portugal as well, which is rather exciting. So he's going to pick us up from the airport and do all of that. So okay, what else have we got on offer, ladies and gents? Come on, let's tell people what else we're doing.
Well, we're going to Poole, and we're also I'm really looking forward to meeting Laurie face to face and seeing his lovely church, which I've only seen pictures of, and I can't wait to get in there. And also then, of course, we're doing the theatre dem, which I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, I'm a little bit scared about, but excited at the same time. And I'm going to meet Jenny.
Yeah. So that is a night at the theatre, and there's 4 of us working at the Harlequin Theatre in Red Hill in Surrey. And hello, Cat. Brett's just said, look what the cat's dragged in.
Hello, Brett.
Brett's going to be in Portugal at the same time that I'm in Portugal with Bruno, so we'll all get to meet up. And I'll talk about that in a second. But when I lived in Red Hill, I used to do the Harlequin Theatre all the time. I used to do it on my own. We just lost somebody. Who did we lose? Jenny's gone. So it's going to be really, really lovely, our night at the theatre with the 4 of us. So that's going to be, quite an event. I'm excited and looking forward to that. So Brett's going to be in Portugal at the same time. He's going to come to one of the shows. He's going to get to meet you as well, Bruno, which is exciting. And Brett's always good value and good fun as well. So it's just going to be amazing.
Yes, lots going on.
I think that the best part of your tour, it's actually the fact that we are going to get to know more and more and more spiritual people. Okay,
Oh, yes.
and that's amazing. And I believe that for you, Val, this tour will be very, very touching and very, very emotional. Okay, because you are going to move all the way, okay, from your home, and then you're going to travel back home, and then meet new people and new cities, doing what you do, and it's amazing. I think that's very, very emotional.
It's funny you say that. Since I started this journey with Spirit, and I'm sure every one of you is exactly the same, the friends we make, the connections we make, and you don't see those people. It's like Karen and I. We don't see each other, from year to year to year. But when we do meet, it's like we were there yesterday. It's just so special. And I am looking forward to meeting Laurie for the first time, which is exciting, and coming and working at your church. I mean, I've seen your lyceums, and we're going to be part of the lyceum as well, I believe. And doing a church service. As I said, you're getting your money's worth out of us. But yes. So how do you think we'll
I'm
go
sorry,
down
I
at
went
your
walking out
church?
for a minute. Well, not literally. We have a lot of problems here with signal because we have the buildings in behind me. We have.
Okay, Jen. Well, if you drop out, I'll just drop you back in again. So don't worry. Yes. So what do you think, Laurie? How do you think we'll go down?
I think you both go down very well. I'm not being arrogant here, because if I didn't think you would, I wouldn't have booked you in the first place.
Oh, that's
Since
lovely.
2020, we've made so many connections, not only across the UK, but Europe as well.
And that was COVID that did that. Everything
Yeah.
stopped. We couldn't do anything in person.
Yeah.
So we all went online, and that has been incredible, hasn't it, when you think about it? I know Brett, who's on here, he said he's going to be able to, he thinks he might be able to wing the Harlequin. So Brett might be coming to the Harlequin as well, which is brilliant.
That'd be amazing. I get to meet Brett. Wow.
Yay.
That's funny.
Yeah, but like Brett, you know, he was running the church service once a month in the hall, and then he did it once a month online through COVID, and now he's doing it once a month online and in the hall. So every 2 weeks, which is brilliant. But it's as I said, it's those connections. We've met the guys from Denmark. We've met people from all over the world by doing the online services and different demonstrations and the other things, because I don't know, you must have all been like myself. I was bored sometimes, and I'd just go in and have a look at what is out there that I can just connect into, and I found all sorts of things anywhere and everywhere. But it's been incredible. Hi, Angela.
Well, Mike was working through COVID, my partner, and because he was working as an ambulance care assistant, so he was doing long shifts, and I was at home. The only highlight I had during the day was to walk to the shop or walk the dog. And then when you saw a person, you sort of like went across the other side of the road and just waved, like this. So the connection on the internet and doing the services and being part of and also just going on to support other mediums and what I've enjoyed is the discussion groups. I do love a good discussion, listening to the lyceums, being answered, putting your questions up, and it was suddenly everybody became accessible, and spiritualism was sort of like being broadcast all around the world, and you were reaching out and connecting with people from the other side of the world. I mean, I connected with through Val. I connected with Brett, and I did services there. Through Val, I connected with Jenny. So it became suddenly a much the world became a smaller place because of the internet.
Yeah, and Jen, you've done services over here as well. And you did some in America, didn't you, as well? And again, that was all through COVID. We were so in some ways we were blessed to have that, because it's just opened the world up to us all. And that's how we met you, Bruno. So that may never have happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm completely blessed because of that, because I was, every time that I tell the story of all the pandemic and everything, people are like, so you travel and you move country to country to country during pandemic. Yeah. To explore your spirituality. Yeah. So you never stay at home? No. I moved to an island, and like I never lived there. I moved to an island because I felt the connection to it. And then I moved to a house that I never been there to do this. So yeah, and I'm really pleased. I think that pleased is not the correct word, but you understand. I'm pleased that this occur for us to do this.
Yeah. So one of the other things, I'm actually going to Paynton, a spiritualist church. I found out that a cousin of mine is actually the booking secretary at Paignton. So
Oh,
I
right.
again got in touch with them, and I'm now doing a dem and a workshop there as well. So
Mm.
it's just weird, isn't it, how all of this is materialized? It's just brilliant. It really is.
Mm.
So what can we
Can
talk
I
about?
Can I
Yes.
ask? I want to ask Laurie a quick question, because talking about the pandemic and everything, which was tragic and scary, but from what we're talking about was the positive side of sort of reaching out to other people. But
Mm.
Laurie, you were sitting there with Paul Church, thinking, I've closed the church. What am I going to do? Did you suddenly get an idea moment in your head that I'll go online, or where did that come from to sort of take Paul online? What was your thinking?
The inspiration came from a beautiful medium, the Reverend Ashley Oliver. And she contacted me and put forward this platform, the StreamYard platform.
Mm-hmm.
And she went, well, what do you think? And I said, well, let's give it a go. So we did a couple of talks online, and it just all sprang from there. This is a great platform for sharing information, knowledge. Not so good to do mediumship on because of the time lag. You've got like 30 seconds between you saying something and actually getting a response.
Mm.
And we're all mediums. We all, if you were sat working with somebody and they waited 30 minutes to say, 30 seconds to say yes or no, we would have put our coats on and gone home.
Yeah.
But it just really did spring from there.
Mm.
Not only the online presence with the talks on this platform, we were doing services on Zoom. I always remember it was really odd because I was contacting people and, I'm thinking, well, they're way out of my league, what? But they were great. They were really good at saying, yeah, we'll do that. And I'm thinking, wow. And then the idea came in to install the camera to stream the services, because whenever we could open, we did. And that was only made possible by the wonderful volunteers I have here.
Mm.
And I get it with other churches. Between the two lockdowns, most churches didn't reopen. And I fully understand, it's not condemning at all. But we went the other way. So I thought, right, how can we get spiritualism out there?
Mm.
We had this camera put in where we can now stream out here, there, and everywhere. We put it on our Facebook page, on our YouTube channel. In fact, I'm sharing today's on my page and the church's YouTube channel, because this is a new thing StreamYard have brought in. They're always bringing in new toys that you can play with.
Yeah.
But it just went from there, and it really was. It was funny. We didn't want to be there, but we were. And I loved the energy, the way it was working, because I would go downstairs into the church thinking I'm going to do ABC, and I'd end up doing XYZ. But I was just like, you know what, this is great, because this isn't me at the moment. This is somebody else, and thank you.
Yeah. So it's funny because Brett has just said that he was at home, like most of us during the pandemic, and he found a church in New Zealand doing Zoom services, and he just followed their format. He said it took a few services to work out Zoom and how to share the music, etc., and the rest is history. I think a lot of us learned new tricks. And he's also said that Val, Jenny, and Karen were great as being up for the experiment. I think we all were, because we all look. I, for instance, missed not being able to go out to work. I missed not being able to go out of my house. I felt like a prisoner in my own home, which a lot of us did. This opened up not only the ability for me to be able to work, but for me to work all over the world as well. It was just incredible. Exactly what you've all just said. So but I think you've done an incredible job, Laurie, with the way you do it, and the fact that you still live stream your services is beautiful.
Yeah, and it's a great introduction to people about what a spiritualist service is like.
Yes.
Because the hardest thing any church, any centre has to do is get people over that threshold.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's the hardest bit, and again, don't mean this disparagingly. We hear a lot, oh, we've got to get more people into our churches. Well, actually, to do that, you've got to go out there.
Mm.
You can't sit in your church waiting for people to come to you. You've
Mm.
actually got to get off your bum and go out there and interact with the community, interact with those around you, and work hard at doing that. And the stream services is a great way, not only for our church, but I know for other churches, because people see the format then and see how a divine service works. And they go, oh, okay, so that little bit of fear or uncertainty has been removed.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Jack's
also, when you got
Jack's on.
yeah, I was just going to say Jack's ears must have been burning. Hello, Jack. Yeah, we were just talking about you, Jack. So hello. Yes, without the pandemic, the attendees would never have gone on the Zoom journey. Exactly, that Brett's just said that. So we've got an awful lot to thank that for. But again, our coming together has been all about that as well. Joining on Zoom and talking to one another on Zoom. And of course, Laurie, you did Brett's service a couple of months ago, I think it was. Might have been last month.
Yeah. I'm loving this working in different countries, because I'm working hard with my spirit. I want the colloquialisms of those countries. I want to try and get, we all have different wordage for things, and I'm really working hard with my team. I'm saying, this was inspired. I saw the lovely Frederick Hagland. He was demonstrating. And he was demonstrating in an English church online. And he was talking about the summer house. And he said, well, I see this gentleman going to the summer house with his suitcase, with all the food, but not coming back from there. Well, of course, the English congregation was sat there going, what? And afterwards, I was speaking to Frederick, and I said, in the UK, a summer house is like a shed at the bottom of the garden. In the Nordic countries, they have holiday homes in places like Malta, Spain, whatever, where they go for the summertime. And I thought, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
I like that. So I'm working, and I'm getting some little nuggets through, and that's great.
I will give you a little tip. When I first came to Australia, again, the terminology I didn't understand. And my sat nav got me lost, and I was late getting there for the dem. And I said, I ended up taking the wrong route. And the whole audience fell about laughing. And I went, what have I said? What's the matter? And then they explained to me what route meant. And I thought, I know, sorry, Australians. Brett just said Aussies love a good route, but I have to be very careful, because and it's like America. If you say something's gone down a bomb, it means it was rubbish. Whereas in England, if you say it's gone down a bomb, it was brilliant. So Nat, it was funny, but it was embarrassingly funny. But yes.
Also, with the American audience, you don't say, I'm just popping out for a fag, because you get totally the wrong impression. Bruno's eyes have just gone wide.
Well, that's my story.
I know.
That's my story.
And you must find it difficult sometimes, Bruno, because you've got that lovely accent. And I've seen you.
Which accent? We don't have any accent.
To us,
I don't know what you're talking about. We don't have an accent.
But you, and it is beautiful. But do you find it sometimes hard that people don't understand you?
Oh, boo. It is.
Yeah.
Because, for example, so now we have, for example, every time that, if I'm translating something from the English to the Portuguese, for example, I say, like, how can I say, I have clients that or America or from England or whatever, then, okay, so let's have the English session. And then I'm hearing them, like, or Portuguese or English, and then I say something, but then, okay, so you don't understand this word, so let's find another way for you to actually can. So
yeah,
that the language barrier still occurs here in the spiritual realm, but it's
Yeah.
because of the people. It's not because of them. So okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's very interesting because here, even in Portugal, with the Portuguese or Portugal to Brazil, for example, it's the same thing. For example, half, we say meia, and meia it's a sock. So basically, or it's we're talking about half a sock, or half and half. So
Yeah. Oh, I got caught out like that. I was learning to speak Greek, and I want to say hello to Janet Parker.
I've just seen she's on. Hi, Janet.
Janet, I was one of the best teachers that I have ever had. And I'm going to say this, Janet, and you gave me so much confidence in myself and my mediumship. And I have never forgotten that. And I always will be so grateful to you for doing that. So thank you. But I was just going to say that poor old Jenny keeps losing her signal, which is
she's
so
struggling with her internet.
Yeah, she is, which is a shame. But I was learning to speak Greek. And I was down on the pier where everybody was swimming in Corfu. And I was trying to say, I wanted to go back to my room. And I said to a lady, because we had an old lady that was with us, and I said, is she going to be all right to go back on her own? Now, the word for on her own, I really can't say it because I'm going to get into trouble. But there's one word for on your own and another word for a female bits.
okay.
And there was one letter that was different. And I said the wrong one. And everybody on this pier just fell about laughing. But they all gave me a round of applause because they said you tried, and that was so important to them. So yeah, I've had lots of mishaps with my my words. I've got to be very careful. So Janet says working in other countries can actually quicken up your mediumship as you have to think on your feet. You certainly do, Janet. You certainly do, and that's a really good point to make, actually.
As Janet's on, synchronicity again, because you and I knew each other, Val. I think we were at a party. I think it was, I can't remember. I think we were at a party or something, a social event. And you said, oh, I've just come back from the college. And I said, well, I'm just going to the college. Sorry, the college is the Arthur Findlay College that I'm referring to at Stansted. And you said to me, oh, I've just met this amazing lady called Janet Parker. And then I said, oh, I think she might be a tutor on my course. And you said, make sure you try and get with Janet Parker. So I put the thought out to Spirit, if I'm meant to do this work, put me with Janet. And lo and behold, I've sent the thought out and I ended up being in Janet's group all those years ago. So again, the synchronicity, you mentioned her name. I was going on the course, sent the thought out to Spirit. There we go.
And you've become firm friends and work together as well on other things as well, which is just gorgeous. And again, it's that linking, how we meet people and whether we stay friends. And, you know, I can't remember the last time I saw Janet, but like I said about you, Karen, you know, we don't see each other for a long time. And then all of a sudden, wow, it's like being friends. We were only there yesterday. I think that's really, really lovely. Hello, Sandra. Gosh, there's a nice lot of people on here tonight.
Definitely.
We haven't had any questions. So if anybody's got any questions, please put. And Janet said she remembers the both of us, so that's really lovely. Yeah.
Good or bad?
Good, of course. Good.
I think mine might be bad because I was see in the college you work from 9 till 9 and it's a really long, tough, hard day, and I would never knock it. But I was usually the first one in the bar and the last one out. So that's probably what Janet remembers as well. So, but hey, you know, we're all different and we all contribute different things.
I've spent my fair time in the bar as well.
Okay, so Jen, we keep losing you, which is such a shame. I can see you moving. Your signal is not very good tonight, which is, as I said, a shame. So, so Bruno, I'm coming to Portugal to do 2 shows on the 12th
of September.
And Yeah, so there's going to be one in the afternoon around about 2 o'clock, I believe,
Yeah.
and then there's going to be one at 7 o'clock in the evening.
Correct.
I know Brett is coming to one of those because he's going to be off partying at the other time. And yes, it is good to blend with similar souls and similar spirits. Janet, with the glasses there, thank you. So I'm extremely excited about coming to Portugal. It's a country I've never been to, so just to come and see your beautiful country is going to be amazing. But meeting different people and seeing how the spiritualism and the mediumship works there as well, because I know it's going to be
different. Yeah, it's
yeah,
different.
yeah,
Because I was thinking, not you were all talking, and I was thinking, it's really amazing that I'm chatting. I'm having the possibility to chat with 4 people that they work with spirituality. They all been like in circles, the spiritual churches, and whatever. So they're dedicating their lives to help people. And when recently I met people that they work professionally as a mediums or whatever, and basically they never studied, they never like been part in a spiritual church, or they never been part on a open circle, or anything. And I felt that that's very, very risky, because you don't have anyone to guide you towards how can you work, and then no, I trust myself, I can do it. I'm that's the bad part. Here in Portugal, only recently, a few years ago, like 10 or less, we start to talk about spirituality, and even like to the point that in September, yeah, because 3 days prior to your arriving here, there will be a fair, like a spiritual, a big spiritual fair here, and 10 years ago that would be like impossible to
yeah,
happen. And it's very interesting to see how the spiritual, how the same thing occurs and works in different countries and with
yeah,
different manners. So it's very interesting.
yeah. Janet has just said that she said, "Give my love to Portugal, as I love working there," and she says, "I will love it." And she enjoyed doing.
Yeah,
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 I'm
exactly,
gonna
exactly.
say-
Depois da vida. So, Anne Germain,
yeah,
my mentor, she
yeah,
was the one who first started Depois da vida, Afterlife. Janet probably were someone that went after or something. I never
mm,
met Janet, but if I
mm,
met, I love to give hugs to people. That's the good thing to coming to Portugal, because I'll give hugs to
yeah,
people. So okay, but
yeah,
yeah, it'll be very, very interesting.
yeah.
Um,
So I'm going to say hello to Nettie. Hello, Nettie. Lovely that you're on here. And then Brett has just asked, is there any resistance in Portugal with the country being so Catholic?
Yes, because it's Jesus Christ and Jesus, but they don't understand that we work with Jesus and the Holy One and the Holy Spirit as well. But what they think is like, so Karen, you were born and you need to fulfill your dreams because Jesus Christ crucifies himself because of you. Okay, so he crucifies himself to protect you, and then you live your life like castrated, like, okay, no, I can't do anything. When basically we work with the Holy One, we work with the Holy Spirit.
Mm.
So basically it's the same thing, but no, we do witchcraft and we do black magic, and
Yes,
it's all of this when it's not the I don't, I'm sorry,
it's
I
not
don't
the case.
no. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
No,
it's
no. Yes. So
One of
Janet
the
has said, sorry,
sorry,
Janet,
John.
she said that hugs are gratefully received. Go
Yeah.
on, Laurie.
I say one of the interesting things about this explosion online, it's not only made spiritualism more accessible in the UK, but
Mm,
also to Europe and further afield.
yeah,
And the reciprocal learning is spiritualism is a recognised religion in the UK. Therefore, we can have churches, but that is not the case in Europe.
no,
And that was quite a revelation, because
No.
us in the UK just thought spiritualism was the same over.
mm,
And it really isn't. You know, there's a lot of centres. Lovely Jack, who's in the room today, he's got a centre in Denmark. But outside of that, we certainly didn't have the churches. And in fact, Dr. Bob, Robert Barron, he is such a nice guy. He is an amazing healer and been over to the college quite a few times and coming back very shortly, actually. But when they have their weekends, they go to, it's an amazing place. It's just magnificent. It looks straight out of Disney, this building. But they actually have to go away into the countryside to practice this because there is a lot of groundswell of resentment again.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just hoping that with the explosion now, and certainly Bruno seems to be verifying that, that spiritualism will come into the everyday life of Europe and abroad, and be recognised.
I know in my early days at the college, we had people from all over the world. And I remember talking to people in places like Germany, and they said, we have to do it all behind closed doors. They weren't allowed to do it the way we were doing it. And I thought that was such a shame because they were learning and they wanted to take the spiritualism into their own countries. So Brett has just asked, Laurie, are any of your lyceums available online as your services aren't in our time zones? Stefan, yes. Stefan, yes, it's an early chat. I'm sorry, he's only just awake. And Jen, I'll ask you a question in a second, but Laurie, if you could just answer that one first.
Yes, everything we do here at Poole is available on our Facebook page, also our YouTube channel. And if it's all right with you, Val, I'll put a link in for the YouTube channel. Thank you.
Yes.
And the YouTube actually is really good because you can put all sorts of stuff in there and put it in playlists. So Brett, there's a link to our channel. Go into the playlist, look up the Lyceum Evenings, or you can go onto our podcast channel and hear the Lyceum Evenings. It's all technical over here, isn't it? I can't even bother the name.
Oh, well, that's brilliant because anybody that's on here can go into that link and have a look at themselves as well. So let me just ask this question. Jen White said, I wonder if I can ask this question. Recently, a young friend's mother, let me just read that, has passed away. This lady has had a deep struggle with her mental health when she was on Earth, and the daughter is very, very raw. With extreme mental health, is there a lag to connect with a medium? I don't understand that, Jen. Is there a lag to connect to a medium?
I think she's asking, is it too soon to connect to a medium?
Okay. Yep.
If I'm wrong, Jen, please say, but I think that's what I'm picking up there.
And what do you think on that one?
I think the time will be right. Some people are able to receive. We had a wonderful example of a communication from a person who died 12 days ago. But the sitter was able to receive that and process it properly. Other people, because we've got to grieve, we're human, you know, and we've got to grieve. We've got to go through these processes, and we may go through it like that, or it may take a little longer. I always say, you know, when I'm faced with, I really want to hear from them, and you can feel the need to hear from them, but they're just not yet in that right place. My feeling is it would be cruel to bring them through because when that communication ended, it's just like losing them all over again. So, you know, I just think spirit know better. If they're there, great. If they're not there, there is a reason.
Yeah.
And there is a good reason. And normally that good reason is for the benefit of the sitter.
Yeah. That's a good answer, Laurie. It is when the time is right for any reading, for anybody, you know, it doesn't matter how they've passed. So I hope that answers your question, Jen, and I hope that helps you. Jack has also put the link up for the YouTube, which is great. Thank you so much, Jack. So if anybody can see that, thank you, Jack. Mark John, hello. Brett says, my uncle came through on the same day as his passing. We've had lots of those. Yes. And And Jen said that that was a very interesting answer. Thank you very much.
Can I just add something
Yeah,
now?
please. Yeah.
I think for me, I can only talk from my own experience, but I didn't go into a spiritualist church because of a recent passing. I went into a spiritualist church because there was something sort of like within me that was a pull that I needed to go and explore it. But through the knowledge of going into a church and understanding that the physical body dies, but the spirit lives on, helped me through grief when I'd lost both my parents, having that understanding. And I think I would say to anybody, if you have that understand, if you go into a church because you just feel you want to learn something or a pull, then as you grow and as you evolve within yourself and take on the teachings, the philosophy, and see the medium's work, and you see the evidence come through, and you suddenly think to yourself, well, there must be something more to this. I find that with that knowledge, it helps you understand death, and it helps you sort of come to terms with physical death. And also from my own experience, then I can show the empathy and support to people that are also going through that as well.
Yeah.
So, it's a tough time when you lose somebody. There's no two ways about it. And it's different for everyone.
But grief is also it's not just to do with the loss of a person. I remember going through my situation, which you know very well, Karen, and it was really weird because I had a message in my head said, because I'm going, where do I go? What am I? How can I get through this? And I was told, ring the council and find a spiritualist church. And I'm going, oh, really? So I rang the council and I ended up at West Wickham Spiritual Church. And all I wanted to do is to hide in the back. And I'm suddenly being picked on. And it was, well, there's nobody else behind me. And they were talking to me. Oh, my goodness me, what a difference that made to my life. It gave me the strength and the courage, not only to get on with things, but to realize that I wasn't on my own. I was going through this and I was being helped and guided. And then finding out that the church did all of those beautiful training classes, I was like a sponge. I remember what we were like, Karen. We couldn't get enough of it, could we? So
very true. I do think, this is just my own personal view, I do think that people come in and they're grieving, and I think people need time. They need healing first and foremost.
yes.
And I think it's important that the churches do that. And from grief, sometimes you find this new lease of life with a new way of looking at things when you have the understanding. But I think the discussion groups and asking the questions, and not feeling afraid to ask those questions, and also coming to terms with your own spirituality within you, and also acceptance of the healing of, say, past emotions and things like that. It's the spiritual churches and centres do a lot, and I would always say to people to go make that their first port of call. And if you go to one and it's not right for you, try another one, or look at what's on offer online and think, oh, I might. I mean, all that stuff you've got online, Laurie, is fantastic for people to download, because also people can't get out. Maybe they can't get out because of ill health or issues. So we've got all that at our fingertips. And I think that I think it's important to do things at your own pace, but allow yourself to heal and allow the grief process to allow it to go forward. And the healing is very important.
Yeah. I just want to come back to Janet as saying that in France, we were spoken of as the occult. It was so very difficult to work there. We were well received in so many other countries. That lag comes up again, but the soul and spirit are touched. or untouched by physical or mental ailment. Oh, yes, coming to that message. The soul and spirit are untouched by physical or mental ailments. It is total liberation. I always advise a few months first for the recipient to go through the rawness of grieving, which is really lovely. Stefan has said he went to a church originally because he was pulled to it through a desire to learn, not because he was in grief. So, yeah, we've all got different reasons for going. And I believe that spirit place is where we need it to be. It's a journey. Yeah, yeah.
And Stefan has just received his certificate from the SNU for healing.
Oh, well done. Well done,
His
Stefan.
2-year journey, which hasn't been comfortable. I know Stefan, he's one of the West Country boys.
Mm.
His journey had a few lumps and bumps, but he's stuck at it, and he is now a recognised healer with the SNU. So well done, Stefan.
Congratulations, Stefan.
Fantastic.
The ears are on you, Stefan.
Yeah, well done. Well done. So Nat has just asked a question. Do you find circles rather than services work well online? I would say yes. Because I had to put all my teaching, and you did as well, Karen, I know, but I had to put all my teaching online because I couldn't get out. And it was brilliant because then it opened it up to people all over the world. Jenny's just said that her internet is playing up something terrible. So sorry, Jen. Yes, the circles do work. Online teaching is very, very successful. And then I've been able to, through some of the churches, put some of my students doing practice sessions in the churches online, which has been amazing.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I took my circle online. And I was a little bit wary about it, teaching online. Is it going to work? And it does. And now I've got some lovely students from overseas. And what we forget in the UK, I think, is that we're quite, the UK is quite small in comparison to Australia, to America, to other places. And I've got some students now that sit with me in the evening of my circle from the US. And they say that they can't get out to churches because they're in areas like, Oklahoma and the Midwest, where there are no churches, where it's very barren from that point of view. So they've found the online classes, and that's what they do. And they come online, and it's been fantastic.
Yeah.
To meet them, to work with them, and to encourage them. So that's been really good.
Janet is just going. Thank you. Thanks for coming on, Janet. It was really lovely to see you. Jenny's still having difficulties and apologising.
She's on.
She's in and out. She's having such difficulty. And Nat has just said, okay, good to hear for future plans about classes. So thank you. That's really nice. It's lovely to be able to pass on information to people, isn't it? Because, how many years between us have we got in spiritualism?
Too many.
Yeah. Well, Karen, you and I have got 34.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know about you, Laurie. So that's 68.
Too many.
I'm the virgin here. I'm the virgin.
Oh, Bruno.
Okay?
Well,
because I've been doing this.
You know what the occult
since
people do with virgins?
I've been doing this for 3 years, so
yeah.
Do you know what, Bruno? It's the excitement. I mean, the three of us can remember that excitement when we first received a message, where we first sat in circle and connected. In fact, there was one wonderful story. I don't know if you were at the church this night, Val, but a wonderful medium came into the church called Arthur Clark. He's now in spirit now. And he gave a message to this gentleman and his son. And they were sitting in the row in front of me. And they just lost wife and mum. And the evidence that he brought through was so touching. I was sitting in the row behind with tears streaming down my face because it moved me. And I wasn't even the recipient of the message. But I can remember thinking to myself, wow. And that was just the only word for it. Wow.
wow.
Because it just touched everybody.
And that's beautiful. And it's really important. We say this all the time, or I do in the churches, is that even if you haven't received a message today, you will get something or will have got something from the messages that have been given to everybody else, or the address, or the prayer, or the songs that are being sung. So there's always, whatever happens, you will always get touched some way, you know, in a spiritual service, I believe.
Definitely.
Do you think that, Laurie?
Very much so. The whole service has something for everybody, even in the prayer, especially. I will share this, the reading and address. And as we were talking before we went live, we've got a big rally day coming off next Sunday, where we've got talks all day long from different demonstrators from the UK and Ireland. And we're doing a morning service with them all. And I picked the reading to share in the group chat on Friday. So the two demonstrators are doing the address, got something to work on. And then Frederick Hagland this morning, totally unconnected, posted exactly the same reading. And Frederick is a demonstrator on next year's rally. And I'm just like, you know, that was my message. That was brilliant for me, because I went, thank you. I know you're all on board. But every part of the service, and especially when we have the demonstrating mediums work, the evidential, when you get that, everything's in that sweet spot and works so well, the presence of the communicator comes in. You know, and when a sitter says, I felt my mother, I felt my, you know, you just think, wonderful.
Definitely.
Or you get people that say, you were my father, you were moving like him, you were animated, you were using his same terminology. It's just beautiful. It really is. So Brett says, as we've all served churches online around the world or the globe, what are the differences that we've come across?
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one.
Sorry, Karen, go on.
No, you carry on. You carry on.
I think with me, it's the consciousness about the difference of evidence. We've just finished an online class with Angela Foster, and we were working with one piece of evidence to build the story. There's a gentleman from the UK, in fact, it's about 2 miles up the road, and a lady from Denmark. And to get that one piece of evidence, he went, all I'm seeing is a witch. And I roared, because in Denmark on that day is St. Hans Day, where they go out and burn the effigy of a witch. He never knew that. And he really had to work hard at bringing that story forward. And I thought, you know what, this is such a tribute to the intelligence of spirit, because again, it's not our message, is it? We want to try and understand it, but actually just shut up and talk and say what they're saying.
And that's actually an important thing to say and to repeat. Never underestimate the intelligence of spirit, because they are all-knowing, all-seeing. I had a talk with somebody earlier on about that. I believe they are all-knowing and all-seeing. But, you know, whatever, they will get that message through to us, won't they? They will make sure that it comes through. And you mentioned evidential. It's really important. People sometimes don't know the difference between an evidential medium and a psychic. There is a huge difference between the energies that we work with, but isn't evidential mediumship so incredibly amazing? Because you touch the soul of that person. You become, well, it's not you become that person, but it's almost like they're using you and they're trying to get across to their loved one. As I said, the mannerisms, the way they speak, the terminology, whatever. And it's really important.
Definitely. I found working online, I thought this is not going to work. You know, I was very skeptical when I first did it. But I have to say, when I was sitting, Val saw my little broom cupboard that I used to have to do my when I first started doing online services. But the wonderful energy that was created in this little broom cupboard of me just working with the spirit world, and then, you know, relaying my the information to the recipient. But the thing that really blew me away was a group of us started to send out healing. That was my first dip into Zoom. So we decided, a group of us, we'd sit and send healing to each other, and then we'd send healing to the world, because obviously at the time of the pandemic, the world needed it. So I thought, well, how am I going to send? So I was given a gentleman that I didn't know very well to send healing to on the screen. So I just thought, well, I'll do it how. So I visualized my hands on this gentleman's shoulders. So I thought, well, that's how I normally do it. I normally do contact healing. So I visualized my hands touching his shoulders in where he was in. I think he lived, I was in Burwash at the time, and I think he lived somewhere over at Paddock Wood or Tunbridge, which is a 40-minute drive. So I visualized my hands on his shoulders. And then after we came back from the healing, we spoke about what we felt. And he said, the first thing he said was, I felt Karen's hands on my shoulders.
Yeah.
So that made me think, that sort of said, so again, it's spirit proving to me that this can work. So after I got that piece of evidence, which I didn't expect it to be evidence, but it's spirit working, I thought there's something here. And I started to demonstrate and do services online after that.
Yeah, it is incredible. It is incredible. Julie, hello, lovely. Julie said it's very soothing listening to you all. Thank you for this. So Julie is a very good friend of mine. Oh, somebody's phone.
That's my phone.
And Stefan has just said it really touches my heart when I pass on evidence and see how it is so welcomed by the person receiving it. And it's just beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. And let me say something. I think the circles, or the online spiritual circles, or the online spiritual churches, whatever, I feel that everything that is spiritual, there's a huge, like, we need to know how to behave. Of course, like, I'm a very goofy guy, and there's like, I love to, when I have group demonstrations, I love to make people laugh, because every time that we laugh, our vibrations go higher, and it's good, and it's healthier. But the thing is, I'm here listening to all of you, and I'm here, oh damn, I missed this. I miss, like, being in the English spiritual church, for example, because here in Portugal, we have two things, or we have the spiritual the spiritual, the groups that basically it's the Allan Kardec ones, that basically the mediums are fake, the mediums they work with the devil, and the mediums, they shouldn't receive money by working with spirit. But oh well. And then we have, of course, in the villages, we always have a lady, or a weird lady, that knows someone that knows someone that knows someone that channels. And then what we do online things. And then, of course, we for example, I knew many during the summer, and I knew last year I met a lot of online group spiritual churches and open circles. But the thing is, people don't know how to behave there. I saw people smoking. I saw people shouting. I saw people eating. I saw people snoring. I'm sorry, but I have to say this. Val, you probably don't remember this, but I do. When Val was doing, I met Val because Val was doing a spiritual service, okay, so a church service. And then I remember this. Val was delivering a message. All of the sudden, like, imagine I'm delivering a message to Karen. All of a sudden, Lori say, "Sorry, is there for me? Is there for me? No." And Val was like, "No, it's not for you." "Oh, but I feel it is." It's not. It's not. Okay. So it was like this. Like, people don't know how to behave, and I feel that
I'm going to come in. I'm going to come in there because Jenny, I know you haven't got a very good signal, but Jenny was doing one of the online services, and people are doing their ironing or doing their washing and dusting.
Yeah.
She actually saw somebody having sex
Oh my God.
Oh my God, yes. Now, would you?
No, I feel that that's kind of a compliment because you are doing this.
Yeah, but you've
That's
got to
not.
think about this. Would you go to the spiritualist church and eat your breakfast? Would you go to the spiritualist church and have sex in the back row? Of course not. There is so
Sorry,
much
darling,
disrespect.
do you want to have sex while we're talking with dead people? Okay, let's go. Like, oh my God, like, like what? Where? Like, I don't understand this. And then I
No.
was like, the vibration was like this. Hello, Karen. Karen, I have a message for you. So, Karen, do you connect with forks? Because I'm seeing a fork. Okay, so I'm seeing a violin. Do you like music? Like this. Oh my God, where's the energy there? I'm sorry. I used to say this. I already saw funerals with a higher energy than some open circles.
Yeah.
And like this
Yeah.
cannot be. What?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell?
I think
Like,
I think it's there's one word here. It's education.
Yes.
exactly.
That's the thing. It's education, but also I think also people forget when they're in their own home. I think they treat sometimes the Zoom like it's the TV, and I think they forget sometimes,
Yeah.
you know, that this is a divine service, and you shouldn't do things like that. I mean, if I do have to get up and sort the dog out or something like that when I'm watching a divine service, I come off screen. I turn my video off so that I can go and sort the dog out or whatever. Or if sometimes like just now the phone rang. There's unexpected things that happen at home where when you go into a church or a centre, you know, you know that you're going. You've got that mindset that you're going through the door. And I think that and obviously when I'm working, my mindset is I'm working. I'm going to church, whether it be online or in person.
Yeah.
And to a degree, when I'm watching a service, I make myself comfortable. I've got a drink just in case I start coughing, and my mind is on the service and what I'm doing. But I think some people, perhaps they just want to, I'm going to have a little dabble. I'm going to have a little go, see what this is like.
Yeah.
So
But
they
then there's people
forget.
that basically doesn't allow you to have like no camera there. So Karen, so okay, I'm going to eat or I'm going to go out with my dog, so I'm going to turn off my camera. Sorry, Karen, turn it on,
I
Karen.
know.
Do you want to see my dog?
So what I would do, Bruno, is I'd send a message to the host and say, I'll be back
Exactly.
in 5 minutes. I just need to do this,
Exactly.
so that you can keep the host and the co-host aware of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't happen very often. I keep my camera on most of the time, but it's just the odd occasion when something's need to happen. So you have to maybe message the co-host and just say, be back in 2 minutes, just got to sort something out.
Yeah.
I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do.
No. The thing is, when I was studying, when I was like practicing, and I was in open circles or with the Germain circle, I heard a sentence that until now I always say this every time that people ask. It's like this: everyone has mediumship, but not everyone's a medium. Okay, it's different because we can practice and we can actually learn how to be. Look, everyone's a spiritual being, but not everyone can channel or can do this or can do that. What I feel is like people think that they have one type of experience, and then I'll say it. I'll go. Now I'm gonna open my own spiritual church.
Oh, yeah.
And you can eat. Yes,
yes.
all can eat. You can smoke. Yeah, you do your things, boo. You wanna sex? You wanna have sex? Okay, turn it on then. So I don't like. Where's the discipline? Where's the behavior?
But and Laurie, you must have experienced this as well. I mean, I get really, really angry when somebody has come to one of my workshops and then they're teaching my stuff. Yeah.
I had a bit of a mare about a year ago. One of my neighbours, who I get on very well with, probably the only neighbour I get on very well. No, came up to me very distressed because this woman had approached her mother, who had just lost her husband, saying she wants to give her a sitting and a reading, totally unprompted, out of the blue. And she actually said that she'd trained under me. And when she said the name, I'm like, I haven't got a clue who that is. And then she was in the local area and she got pointed out to me, and I went, she's been in probably 2 of my open circles, you know, and I did challenge her over it.
Yeah.
I said, number one, don't go up to strangers, you know, offer, if they want to read in, they'll come and find you. Number two,
Yes.
you have not trained under me.
Yes.
But yeah, we do see this happen time and time again. Lovely Jack, when he was down here, he was talking about double links. It's a really interesting way of working with your mediumship.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, one of the attendees 3 days later was advertising they were going to do treble links. And I'm just like, okay, carry on.
Yeah, yeah.
It's that fine line. We're there to inspire, and that's our side of the energy. The attendee side is to take that inspiration, not do a carbon copy.
That's right. I say to my students, you don't want to become a clone of Val Hood, because you've got your own individual quirky personality, and it's important that you work that with spirit. So it's not about copying your teacher. You've got to be yourself. Now, we've gone over time, and I've really enjoyed it. But so can we just recap on Team September? I am super excited. The fact that it's all come together so beautifully and everybody's worked to bring that together as well. Jen, we're so sorry that your signal's been so rubbish tonight, because you're always so much fun to talk to. But anyway, we'll try and I would like to do a couple more before we get to the UK, if that's possible, because I think it's important that, you know, the people on here, they can go and have a look at the areas that we're working in. So for instance, it's going to be Wales and Bristol and Paignton and Poole and Hampshire and Surrey. There's going to be so much. So I have got all the information on my website, and I will just put that up, because let me just make sure it's up there. I got Jenny Doherty's, don't want to put hers up. But yeah, so any information to do with this tour is going to be on my website. It's just about to be put up. Yes, Stefan, Paignton, I'm going to be in Paignton Spiritualist Church as well. So there is such a lot on offer. So I will be working with Karen and Bruno and Jenny, which is lovely, and then working for and with Laurie. So there's lots of firsts in here. First time to Portugal, first time working with Bruno. Is 1,000,001 firsts for you and I, Karen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but first time in Wales, and
First
time in Poole, a first time in Paignton. Going back to the lovely Harlequin Theatre is going to be exciting. I know people are already talking about booking tickets and things like that. So don't miss out. If anybody is interested, then go and have a look at the website, which is at the bottom here as well. I don't know if anybody else wants to throw anything else in there.
Well, I'm gonna start posting now, posting it all online, and it will be on my website hopefully soon as well, when I get my head round putting it on there, and also I'll put it on my social media as well.
So what's your website, Karen?
It's karenwood.org. So okay,
that link is up, and that's just going in, I hope. Yes. And Bruno, all your information will be on the posters, which are on my website.
Yeah, and I will share it as well.
So, yeah, lovely. And Larry, we know that you're gonna, or Laurie, we know that you're gonna do that as well.
Already, everything that you're doing here is up on the church website with links to purchase tickets on.
Lovely.
Thank you.
I'm getting all excited now for September.
Yeah.
A busy time, but an exciting time.
It is. I mean, I'm going to be in the UK for 6 weeks, and I was supposed to be coming home to see family, and I'm thinking, what family? I'm only managing to squeeze in, especially when Jenny rings and says, "Oh, I've got another date. We've got to do another show." So, but it is exciting, and for me, not having been to the UK for 4.5 years, and I used to come twice a year, and I would work those times. So it's really, really, yeah, it's really exciting. And working with you guys, you know, first for Laurie and Bruno as well. Worked with Jenny, obviously, before, and you, Karen. But as always, it's going to be just so much wonderful pleasure. And I don't know what else to say. It's just lovely. But I would like to say thank you to each one of you for coming on. I live just south of Sydney in Australia, actually, Stefan. He's just asked. And Karen's in England, Bruno's in Portugal, Laurie's in Poole in Dorset. Yes. So we will leave it there, I think. But thank you, every single one of you that have joined us tonight and participated and listened. And for all those that watch this afterwards as well, thank you. But as I said, the websites, my website is up here. Karen's I've just posted. Poole Church is posted. The Portugal information. And it's really interesting, you know, because I've got a friend here from Portugal who's going to be in Portugal at the same time that we're going to be in Portugal, and she's got a whole heap of friends who she's going to try and invite to this thing. So and a lady in New South Wales here said, where in Reigate are you going to be, because I've got friends there that want to go and see you as well. So
wow,
isn't it funny how this all it's a crossover thing, isn't it?
it is. Yeah,
beautiful.
That's amazing.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yes. Anyway, I think on that note, we ought to say thank you to everybody, and we should close down. So Susan Townsend, you're in Poole. Yep. Do you know Susan?
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Lovely.
Susan's looking forward to your visit. We'll try and behave ourselves, won't we, Karen?
We'll try very hard. We'll be good as
How
gold.
rule, don't. I don't.
I want to be attacking that alcohol that's on that shelf behind you, actually.
Well, actually, Bruno, when the lovely Val's with you, can you slip a bottle of Massiera into a suitcase to bring back over? Thank you.
I don't drink, but I will make sure that the bottle is in the bag, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, and Brett just said a great chat, and thank you. But thank you all for participating. It's been really, really
It's
wonderful.
been nice.
But we will see you again. So July, we'll do the 1st of August, and then we might do the end of August, because I'm going to be traveling on the 1st of September. So we might throw in one there, if that's all right with all of you guys. And there's always something new to say and something new to share. And spiritualism is such a huge subject. And a lot of people think it's such a small subject, but it is massive. And we can't cover everything that we want to cover in such a short space of time. So, but anyway, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
We will say goodnight to all of you lovely people listening out there. Thank you, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.